Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to My Spiritual GPS. This is your host, Vivian S.D. Guzman, your human MRI and the #1 money magnet activator. So today we have actually a special guest to help you with your spiritual GPS. Our special guest today is Miss Therese Nadeau. She is actually a psychic intuitive, right? She is a spiritual teacher and intuitive healer, and she helps women overcome fear and anxiety by tapping into their intuition. We know that we all have intuition. It's like our spiritual GPS, right? In other words, we are where we are in our life today. However, if it's uncomfortable or there's some discomfort or some dis-ease, we want to get to somewhere else. We want to get to our destination. Sometimes we get lost. And today, Therese is going to help us understand what is an oracle and how it can actually help us in our spiritual journey so we can get there with ease. All right, so welcome to our show, Miss Therese Nadeau. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me, Vivian.
Yes, yes. So you're a certified Reiki master teacher. You have a lot of credentials, right? You are a soul coaching, oracle card reading master teacher. You also do past life regression. You're a student of human design, shamanism, and many other modalities. Wow. And well, you're just like a ball of gift that's ready to be unwrapped. It looks like. So tell us a little bit of how did you get in touch with this oracle card reading? Like what is an oracle? Is that something that you can share with us?
Yeah, like an oracle back in the day, like if you look at the definition, was the seer. So they would predict the future. They were the priests, the priestesses that the kings and queens would go to. And even today, police departments and, investigators and such, they actually still work with psychics and mediums. And so basically being an oracle is being your own creator for the future. And nowadays, that's how I see it, is by giving yourself that permission to be your own oracle and tapping into your own gifts to make the future that you desire, but also knowing through intuition what the best route is with the least resistance.
Okay, so obviously, I'm sure you have some stories to tell us. Like, how did you become an oracle reader?
Yeah, so many years ago, I had started doing meditation. And through that meditation, my gifts started opening up. And I realized that I had psychic gifts. Like, I didn't even realize that I did, because you turn them off quite young, as you know, many of us do. And back when I was about 18 years old, my cousin Teresa, actually, she's a psychic, and she gave me a deck of tarot cards. She gave me the Rider-Waite cards. And she said, "You have the gift." But I was 18 years old and I was tree planting, and I was like, oh. So I did embrace them at first, but they scared me because of the accuracy, and it was scaring my roommates. So I threw them out. So fast forward to later on in my early 30s and opening up the gifts, I realized I needed a spiritual teacher to help me. And that's when I discovered an online course with Denise Lynn to become an Oracle Master reader. And so the rest is history.
Wow. So can you clarify to the audience, what is a psychic? Because I think there's a lot of misconception about that word, right? And I remember when my gifts were opening up as well, people told me don't use that word. So can you share with them from your perspective, like what is a psychic?
Well, I think being psychic, which I think we all have access to, is having that open channel to spirit, and that clear open channel that you know is coming from spirit. It's being psychic means that you have access to these gifts, the clairs, right? We've got many clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, etc. And it's like basically up leveling your intuition one more step. It's like a muscle. So we have to train that muscle. We have to work it out. And so there's this ability to trust those gifts and know that you're a clear channel, and you can sometimes predict the future. Sometimes you just hear the right answer, or you know the answer, you know the direction. It's different for everyone. Yeah, so that's basically how I see it.
Awesome, awesome. And it's very interesting you said that, because in the beginning, being a psychic, right, for me, I was able to see things like in the past, the present, or the future. It was almost scary, like you said. That was the first reaction, right? Because when I was little, I would also, seems like I'm talking to creatures that other people can't see. You know, like dwarfs. You go play by the trees when I was little, and it seems I was invited even in their magical kingdom, and I'm like, this is kind of crazy. And then you come out of it as if you're in a dream, right? Because nobody else is talking about it. So
No.
then we hide. And I believe with all this trauma that's happened recently, and all the COVID and the pandemic, that kind of opened up a lot of people's gifts, and then they don't know how to use it, right? So you're saying the oracle cards can actually guide us. It's like a safe way of trusting yourself first, right? Because then some people like shuffle the deck of cards, and then they're like, I don't like the answer. Let me just shuffle it again. And they would get a similar answer or the same card. So, Therese, is there a right or wrong way of using oracle cards, by the way? Because I have a few, because I started like exploring it, and they seem so accurate. Like, can you share with the audience, there is a right
Yeah.
and wrong way? Is there such a thing?
I don't believe there's a right and wrong way. I think that there's many teachers out there who have their way, and they'll
Uh-huh.
teach their way and what they believe is right or wrong. The only place uh, where I sense people should would be doing it wrong is by being codependent
Independent. Okay.
on the deck of cards, for example, like where they turn into that card, or they live just by that message,
Yep.
because that's where it's unhealthy. It's codependency, right?
Right.
But you can shuffle them how you wish. You can pull them how you wish. You can share them with whoever you wish. And really, it's just and just being that open vessel, right? So if you're going to get those messages you want to hear, be clear. So don't be on alcohol or drugs, for example. Like don't drink a bunch of bottles of wine and then tell your friends you're going to do card readings, because I know that's a very fun, common thing to do for some people. But yeah, so there's no right or wrong way. And even when I was 18, I said I threw away that card deck, that tarot deck. I thought for sure I was going to have like hell come burning down the house, because I thought it would have been a bad thing. Because I was so naive at the time, I didn't realize. And personally, I'm more drawn to the oracle deck rather than the tarot deck. That just seems to be the energy that I prefer. Yeah.
Okay. So now I know a lot of your clients have said a lot of great things about you, Therese, because so far this oracle card decks that you've been using, and I know you mentioned to me you use a few of them, right? Depending on what you're called to use. So some of Therese's clients are very, very happy when she started training them on oracle card reading. So what we're going to do in our Q&A, if you have any specific questions, I'm just telling you ahead of time, you can put it in the comments, right? So that we can actually read it and we can address your questions. So these are some of the testimonials that Therese's clients, whom she has trained on oracle card reading, said. So training to read oracle cards helped me gain confidence and courage to become an accurate card reader. That is very true. In the beginning, we're afraid, we're doubtful, we're fearful, and then that's why you keep on shuffling the cards and keep on asking the same question sometimes. But it's funny, the universe sometimes has a way of joking, right? Because it gives you the same card over and over again, or it's similar answer.
Yes.
So it opened her eyes to the metaphysical world, allowing her to use her mediumship skills to help others. See, it can actually be a profession, right? For those of you that just want to help people and you don't want to give them advice coming from your mind, but coming from a higher guidance. So this is one way of doing it. And this was from Tina L. That was her testimonial. And then since working with Therese, I feel like I've had a huge shift happen. Well, everybody's having huge shifts. But you notice every week, like last week, I was sleepy, actually, a week and a half. I was like sleeping a lot, almost like downloading messages. So for this particular reader, she opened up 1,000 times more than she was able to, and things have come together quickly, making much more sense. And according to MP, Therese, you're an amazing soul. So that's awesome testimonials. All right. So now what we're going to do is perhaps do a Q&A, right? Maybe you needed some guidance. And here we have an oracle card reader. Uh, and is it okay if I share with them your human design as a reflector?
Yes.
So Therese is a reflector. So can you share with them first, what's a reflector? So then people know what's a reflector in human design.
Okay, so for those of you who know human design, you know that we have energy centers. And as a reflector, all my energy centers are very open. So I'm very amiable and flexible. A reflector's aura is more like a Teflon shield that reflects like a mirror. So by being in the energy of a reflector, you're being reflected your beauty, your gifts, your all the wonderful qualities, but also the shadow sides of those qualities. So it's also a nice way to see where there could be some work and some improvement in your life or making decisions. And I have to wait 28 days to make major decisions because I go by the moon cycle. So that's like my shadow feels like.
Oh my God. Yeah. And we were talking because we've been talking a few months ago because we met through Beth's Life Purpose Mastery, right? And you know how you're drawn to certain souls, but you kind of can't explain, like, I don't know why I'm drawn to this person. We talk, and a lot of times because we're all in different stages in our lives, right? Even in business, some days you know exactly what you're doing, and some days it's almost like you're juggling 10 balls in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel familiar, right?
Yes.
So there are days that sometimes you just have to wait and ride all the waves of the moon, so to speak. Because I'm also emotional authority, except I'm a generator, right? So she's a reflector. I believe there's only 1% of people, I believe, who's a reflector in the whole world, right? So these individuals are rare. And like she said, she could be a mirror to your soul, so to speak. How can you like find a special person who's a mirror to everybody, right? So we were having a little staff meeting yesterday, and she showed up and another person also showed up at the same time, and I'm like, I'm feeling hot. I know it's not menopause or anything like that. It was just suddenly the energy became like magnified, like, am I this hot normally? A lot of energy, right? Okay, so let's go to the questions. All right, or some comments. Teddy Nobe, hi Teddy, how are you doing? And Teddy says she has a question actually.
Okay, great. I'll pull
Does
some
the
cards.
open channel have to do with one of the 3 channels in the head center for human design? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's human design.
We were
Okay.
talking about human design open channel, and yes, Therese has everything is open, right? Everything is white. Is that correct? As a reflector?
Yes. Yeah. I have
Yes.
nothing
So,
activated open.
right. And I believe Teddy is a projector, so she has some channels. She has like the triangles and some of those human design shapes open, but a reflector has everything open.
Yeah.
Everything. All right. And Shifra said, Vivian just explained what I saw and experienced as a child. I never knew how to put it into words. Thank you. Okay. And she also said, Therese, I used to be very addicted to my tarot cards. About 30 years ago, I had to hide them from myself. All right. So she's a manifesting generator. If I am working with multiple clients at a time in the day, I become absolutely exhausted. I wrap myself in the pink and white light and Vivian's golden roses, and I still become exhausted. I'm open to suggestions. Shifra, is there a question you'd like to phrase that the oracle cards can answer? Perhaps we need to tell what I wanted people to do is ask a question related to themselves, perhaps their business, or perhaps their partnership. So then through the oracle card deck, Therese can actually answer those questions through her higher guidance and reflect back to you what your next step is, what you need to know, like in general. So go ahead and post those questions on the comments.
And I just want to say, Shifra, I don't need the cards to tap into you, but it does help, like Vivian said, just to have a really clear question.
Okay, that's her question. Shifra asked, how do I keep my energy separate from the clients? And you can see her full name there and see if that helps you understand. Yep, tune in to what Shifra is asking. Ooh, this is so much fun.
It is fun. I love doing these. So how do I keep my energy separate from my clients? Well, I'll pull a card and I'm going to answer your question at the same time. Okay. And I feel today, Shifra, what message is coming through is from the angels, actually, for you. Okay. And so I'm going to pull from my Archangel deck by Dorian Virtue. And okay, so the card just flew out. I didn't have to do anything. It was ready. Beloved one, Archangel Camuel, I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. So I know that this doesn't pertain particularly to the question, but it does. And I'll explain why. Because when you think about energy and the energetic field when you're connecting with people, I feel when I go into your energy, you're like a sponge of energy. So you're highly sensitive. And I feel like you're a highly sensitive person. So it's really important that you set your own energetic boundaries before you leave the home. So if this makes sense. So wrapping yourself in a bubble, that's you sit and you actually set the intention and imagine yourself in a bubble where you're feeling safe and connected. And the bubble isn't going to not let anything in, but it's going to reflect any negative energies. So imagine the negative energies coming in and bouncing like a rubber ball, because we want you to still receive, right? So I feel you're in your energy, you're can be an overgiver. And what can happen that way is we get resentment when we overgive. So I want you to really tune into your own personal boundaries, loving yourself enough to say no, to spend less time with certain people and certain clients, because you don't have to take everybody, right? Vivian knows this. We can filter out the clients that we work with, because that makes us healthier and better to receive, but also to give to the clients that we do have. So setting intentions before you go in the session, setting the intentions before you work with the people, and then clearing after. And Vivian and I just had this conversation, so it's very timely. It's just when you're done working with the clients, make sure you have maybe a hot bath at the end of the day where you visualize yourself. Like I visualize myself as a sponge, and I squeeze out all the energy, like SpongeBob. I squeeze it out and it all goes down the drain. Salt is an excellent cleanser. Salt water, essential oils are very helpful. And I hope that makes sense for you, and feel free to let me know. But this is really about your relationship with yourself and loving yourself enough to say no.
May I contribute to Shifra also? So because of the conditioning, from parents and ancestors and that whole race, right? Unfortunately, there's still like an inside like self criticism. It's not even
Mhm.
coming now from the outside because she knows that's not her, but
Mhm.
it's her own criticism towards herself now because she
Mhm.
heard it, almost like she believed what she
Mhm.
heard and what she has witnessed in the past. And if she could just like keep that mind, right? Like a puppy
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, I heard you. Thank you very much. You can now go down the side of my foot and just walk with me. We're going to be together. We're all good," right? But it doesn't have to like be the ruler of her whole energy
Mhm.
for the day. So
Mhm.
that's my 2 cents to Shifra.
Beautiful. Get
All right.
cute.
She was asking, "Oh, it's most likely I don't clear myself. I love that. Which oil to clear?" So I'll let you answer that if you have any specific preference.
Mm, I'm
Um,
getting, personally, I'm getting bergamot. That's what
Bergamot,
I'm getting. I don't know why. That's the
it's the
oil
oil
that
of
just came.
self-acceptance. That's what it means. That's why.
Okay.
That makes sense. And you can even I'm sensing, put it in the middle of a session or
Mhm.
diffuse it while you're actually doing your energy work or any kind of work, even facials, because
Mhm.
it's your oil of self acceptance, right? And I'm sure the client would benefit from that as well.
Yeah.
You know how some people do facials for different reasons. Some
Mhm.
people do it because they want to look good. Why? Because inside they don't feel like they look good.
Yeah.
So then it may be therapeutic for them also to diffuse that oil while you're helping them with what you're doing with them. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Our next question is from Teddy. Her question is, okay, oops, where did it go? For the oracle cards, is the possibilities of living my gifts as a leader and guiding others, please. I have only one defined channel, the channel of initiation. That is a projected channel. It needs to be recognized and invited. She's a projector.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
so the question is the possibilities of living my gifts as a leader and guiding others.
Okay.
Are you asking if you can do that? I think that's what I'm getting. Is that right, Vivian?
You can answer that first. And what oracle card deck is calling to you with her question? So Teddy is a high achiever. She used to be an educator, a teacher, and then
Okay.
she moved into coaching. And now
Mm,
she's using her gifts in that new arena, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
so because she's a projector, she can't just enter whenever she feels like it
Mhm,
because
mhm.
she's not going to be heard. So I think she's looking for guidance.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull for you an animal card actually, because the animals want to come through.
Ah,
And I just dropped my card. One
you
sec.
even asked, what are the energetic possibilities at the moment? Ah, awesome.
Okay, so two cards came out
Okay,
for you,
cool.
and so I mean, you can be anything you want to be, Teddy. Right? You're designed to be a leader. It's like you're good at that. And so the first card that came up is Meerkat. And Meerkat is all about getting support from a trusted group of like-minded friends. So this is making sure that you are fully supported. You have a healthy group of people in your life to share when you need to talk it out, need to share, and so that you're always getting that positive reinforcement that you need, right? And then eliminate time or energy around people who aren't supporting you, right? Because that we know that that can bring us down and make us doubt ourselves and listen to that inner critic, right? So Meerkat is a really good one for you because that's about you creating that sacred soul friendships and support that you need around yourself. And then Panda came up, which is also about sacred space. And Panda is create a sacred space for yourself in your home and or place of work. So this is really, once again, about you creating that environment where you feel the best that you can feel. You feel safe, you feel supported, you can get that insight that you need on your own after you've talked things out and have been asked questions of and panda, if you look at these animals, meerkat and panda, they're in warm climates too, right? Panda can be in cold and can be in warm climates. So looking at the animal and looking at the climate that feels right for you, and even the temperature of your office space and the temperature of your home. I know this is something that we don't talk about very often. And we can also go deeper in and look at, for your energy, diet and the keeping your energy optimum so you feel the best through your diet as well. And so animals tend to bring that to us. And yeah, so I like this, creating sacred space for yourself, having your safe space, and also just keeping that safe space in your environment around you. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, she said, thank you so much. I love my home and I love my office. She also loves her cats. She's actually very organized. Like this lady, I can tell you how when she was in, my program, she was like, everything is in a spreadsheet, super organized, right? As a teacher, she came in with that gifts and talents. So now she is incorporating that with her human design and allowing her genius to come out into the world. So it's so cool. Yeah. So Teddy, I hope that helped you.
Here, I'll show you this.
What's that? Oh, cool. Take a picture of that, Teddy. Meerkat and panda.
and look at their diet, because something about the diet is coming up.
Oh, interesting. And she's also good at that. She's really good at those things. Her food and yep, she is. All right. So I don't have any questions anymore. So why don't I use this opportunity for my question? How's that?
Yeah.
So I have two businesses, right? One is I'm being called intuitively to go into intuitive business coaching for these high profile entrepreneurs. And my divine guidance came from meditation that the first 6 months is I'm doing healing, which I've built the academy for that. And then now I'm calling in the right souls to teach this academy, right? At the same time, my guidance says, go ahead and start going into corporate and start helping these people, right? For the guidance and insight for their businesses, just because I can see psychically. Is there a way for us to pull a card for that particular segment of my business and also for my academy? Because the academy is now being built, right? Well, it's been through the courses for the last 2.5 years, but now I'm going to have to let go of the baby, so to speak, and assign someone or some people to here's the torch, go for it. Take over. Heal the world.
Okay, so you've got these two entities that you've birthed and that you're holding, and you're wanting to let go a little bit of.
It's more let go of the academy and create the group of healers for that. And at the same time, I can do the marketing side because that's my design marks, right?
Yes.
The TV show, My Spiritual GPS, and then at the same time have these high-end coaching clients on for the intuitive business space.
Okay, so I'm going to pull on the academy right now because I have to do one at a time. I want to get insight into each individual.
Thank you.
So the academy is showing me the initiation card. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So that really makes sense.
Yep.
It's like you're ready to just pass the torch, initiate the newbies, and cross that threshold into this new endeavor. And you're on the right track is what Spirit's telling me. And it's about, and then I see that there's going to be a lot of shifting going on because it's going to change the energy completely. So it's like almost it'll be birthed a little differently. Does that make sense with this new energy? It's going
because everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
I have projectors. I have
Yes.
reflectors, I have generators and manifesting generators. I can see
Yeah.
that. That's why I think I'm like, oh my God, it's like quicksand.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
feeling. Every day is changing.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Okay.
Yeah. And God's saying, trust the
Yes.
process, trust that you're choosing the right people, trust that there's going to be this new wave, this new energy in there, and that you can pass the torch, that you
Mm,
can let go and let it emerge how it's meant to be.
yeah.
And it's not, you're not going to know what that looks like. And
Yeah.
as psychics, we always want to know, but we
It's
can't know
too big.
everything.
It's too big because
Yeah.
I've been shown in my meditation like a star configuration that the
Mm,
school for kids with purpose would be global. That's kind of like the end of, well, maybe the end or the beginning of something, right? But the
right.
bigger project goes beyond what I can
Mm,
even imagine, hold in my space, in my head.
mm,
It's
mm.
like, okay, God, I don't know what this is, but it feels big and I need some help. Can you
Yeah.
please help me? So now it's coming through.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's what's going on in the
So,
academy. So thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense, right? It's just trusting the process, letting go, letting go. I keep getting that's the words coming
Letting
through, letting
go.
go.
Okay, letting
Yeah.
go it is.
And then, of course, I pulled up another card because we want to overall look at it. And
Mhm.
this is the Pleiades are coming through, and they're floating. You can see that in the picture.
Yeah,
We're letting
yeah. I
go.
have that deck, and I kept on getting that I came from that I have a double mission, and I'm
Yeah,
like, why do I have a double mission? So can
yeah.
you share with them what's a Pleiades?
Well, to be honest, this is a new deck for me. You probably know more than
Oh,
me about it.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and it's funny because in my meditation this week, I had Bigfoot come through. You know how you were
Oh,
talking about being in
yes,
the forest,
yes.
and and it's interesting because when I was a kid, I was the exact same. I played in the forest with the fairies all the time,
Me
and
too.
and I just thought that I should share that too because we all have this serendipitous. And so when I see this picture of you and the Pleiades, it's like this is totally you floating through doing. I've pulled this card before for myself as well. It's like you are on a mission and you're living that purpose and you're living it, and you're um it's just I feel, Vivian, that like you know how you said it's bigger than yourself. You feel like it's bigger than it's because yeah, you're here to uplift all of us, and this is perfectly an example of us sitting here talking because you've uplifted me too. Like I can be a testament to
Thank
that.
you. It's my
And aw, and so maybe you can talk more to the Pleiades because I'm not as up to date with them as you are.
mm,
And
okay.
that's why I brought up the Bigfoot, because me and the Bigfoot were talking and they said I'm of this earth,
Ah.
which I found interesting. I haven't told anyone that before.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna trust and I'm gonna communicate with the Pleiadians to give me
Mhm.
to enlighten me more on what this mission or double mission is about. So
Mhm.
whew, it's interesting. So now was
Mhm.
that the card for the academy?
Well, I
And
pulled this one for the academy, and this is the other card for the other part.
for the intuitive business coaching, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
this is the intuitive business
Oh,
coaching.
yeah, because honestly, in my head, I'm like, well, I know that some entrepreneurs, it's not like they got it all figured out. Otherwise, they won't
Mhm.
go through some of the obstacles and some of the challenges, right? And they're always, when they come to me, they're always looking for like, what is the fastest path? Like, what's the shortcut? How do I get from point A to point B? Those are my usual clients, right? And if their mind is quiet, they get the answer, like you said, through meditation,
Mhm.
connecting with their divine guidance. But if they're not quiet, unfortunately, because the to-do list often far exceeds what God's message is for today, that's what makes the work work. That makes it
Yeah. Yeah.
like the several hours that we work. Because a lot of times I would get a meditation, I would get the answer, and I would just trust that.
Mm.
And then did one project. Or sometimes there are days I would do 5 projects, and then I'm done, right? So it just depends on the day, and I don't question that anymore. I don't say, well, you're a generator. Why aren't you productive for the day? I don't do that self-berating activity because I just trust. So thank you. That was awesome.
One more. I just felt called for our inner child, all of our inner child. And
Oh,
it's
great.
the unicorn card. Believe in
Ah,
yourself, see
yes.
yourself doing well, and you will.
Wow. Wow.
There we go.
Wow, Therese. So share with us, Therese, how can the audience get a hold of you further? And by the way, she's most likely gonna be a part of our academy for those of you that are really looking for learning how to read an oracle card, like to trust your intuition. So can you share with them what your special gift would be for them?
So I've got a special gift today on the 5 easy steps to really trusting in your intuition. So I put together a nice little booklet for you on just the 5 steps that I use that have really helped me and my clients over the years.
Awesome. And like I said, she is a reflector. So Therese will reflect back who you are like a mirror.
Yes.
So if you
Mhm.
want to really cut to the chase and just take a look at yourself, she is such a wise sage when it comes to really being honest. Like, what would she get by telling you something else, right? It's nothing. She has to tell you who you are and who you're meant to be, your greatness, and then you can live that greatness. So, is there an
Mhm.
email that they can connect with you, Therese?
Yeah, so you're welcome to either go to my website, which is theresenadeau.com,
Okay.
and my email address is info@theresenadeau.com.
All right. So I'm going to add the email on the website. Hold on a second. Right there,
There you
Therese,
go.
okay, Nadeau.com. And Therese,
Mhm.
thank you so much for gracing our show today. It's been wonderful knowing you and hearing your voice and your insights and guidance. And thank you, everyone, for really being here present, asking those beautiful questions. And I hope that we have served you well in this capacity. So next week, tune in again for another episode of My Spiritual GPS. Thanks, Therese. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.